Hi everyone, so today I want to share this book with you. It's called Direct Watercolor by Marc Taro Holmes. Marc is known for his urban sketching illustrations, and I always was a big fan of him, and the color placement. He really likes colorful illustrations as well as kind of sort of loose brush strokes. And this year Marc ran a challenge this year during the month of June. It was supposed to be a painting every day that you do direct onto paper. So you could have used pens and ink pens to help yourself, but he is not using ink pens for this particular style. And from reading this book, I also realized that he only uses the pencil just to give himself a few kind of guidance points in an illustration so that he could work around it, because if it's a loose wash or a loose illustration, sometimes it's hard to know where to start and where to continue so that the lines are straight, etc. So sometimes he gives himself a little bit of help, but mostly he does the illustrations kind of directly onto the paper, and his aim is actually to completely skip the pencil at some point and just not even use the pencil for the reasons that he's using it now. So this is the book. The format is a square, and there are some lovely illustrations here. So in the beginning he explains a little bit about the concept of direct watercolor, what it is, why he has started painting like that. The paper is a little bit on the thin side. Quality of the prints, however, are pretty good. So here are some of the things he's talking about, what not to obsess about, that it's not photorealism, etc., etc. He's sharing his essential tools, which are very simple. It basically comes down to 3 brushes and a pencil that I explained already. It's a 0.3 millimeters HB pencil that he just uses to help himself a little bit. And the watercolors, he uses a Winsor & Newton half pan box, I think, or tin, that he then kind of emptied, and he took the insert out and he filled up all of these half pens with the colors of his choice, and that's how he's working. So I don't think there is a list, I haven't seen it, of his exact colors in this book, but it says here that if you do want to know the pigments that he currently uses, there is always an updated list, and you can find it in watercolor supplies page on his website cityscape.com. So if you're interested, you could find that. Okay, so that's that. Then we get a few tips. So the basic tips for direct watercolor: work wet on dry, one shape at a time. He encourages you to work on just one sort of area before you move on to the other one, because that will help you to minimize the colors or the watercolors flowing into one another, and you will have like a separation of different colors. And then there is the reserve white. So you need to think of your painting in such a way that you leave the white of the paper to preserve highlights and contrast. And then there is also every brushstroke counts, so different textures you can achieve with brushes. So then there is also the silhouette, how you can kind of create silhouettes within negative painting or backgrounds, etc. And then it just basically dives in on page 16 into this beautiful array of his work. So he then goes through and explains where he's been, how he painted it, and there are step-by-step pictures so you can see the progress of the work. And that's pretty much the layout of his book. So here is the early works of 2014 Montreal. Yeah, you get a bit of info, some pictures. Usually the pictures are really good quality. The only ones that I found not to be great is actually on page 25. They're very much blurred, so because I think it was the picture itself must have been a low resolution, and then it just was really zoomed in, so it looks quite bad. But this is the only page where it looks like this. Everywhere else the photography is quite good. So yeah, there are some portraits here. I think this is one. I'm not sure if there's any more, but basically, just to give you a flip through, is mostly places, beaches, you know, that sort of thing, cities, landscapes, water, sea, and all that. So yeah, I think that was the only portrait. So this is it. It's pretty much straightforward, some very beautiful paintings to look at. I'm a huge fan of his, so like I said, you know, even if I'm not really doing urban sketching on location, I still appreciate his art, his color choices. I mentioned this page before, how beautifully the colors are placed. I find it very inspiring. So yeah, I hope this little flip through helped you to decide whether this book is for you, and thanks for watching. See you soon.